Hi there and welcome to Atoll TV's ISO 9001 playlist. I'm going to review the requirements of Clause 4.2, Understanding the Needs and Expectations of Interested Parties. I'm going to break it down and turn it into something we can all understand. You'll then be able to apply this to your own organisation system and understand what the requirements will look like for you. No more guessing. Hi, I'm Jackie Stapleton and you're watching Atoll TV, the place to expand your career and learn from experts. I'm the Director of Auditor Training Online and I'm here to help you on your way to implementing or auditing against ISO 9001, the 2015 revision. While you're here, I'd love you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything exciting in the future. To start off with, I'm going to ask you a question. What clause in ISO 9001 do you need support in unpacking and determining what it might look like applied to your own organisation? Or which clause causes you the most uncertainty? Comment below as I'd love to help you out. I do need you to stick around until the end as I'll be sharing a link from this clause requirement to another within ISO 9001 so you can work smart and not hard. So, okay, let's get started. Clause 4.2, it's called Understanding the Needs and Expectations of Interested Parties. There are a couple of points in this clause, so I'm going to break them down and explain them separately. The first point, Point A, states that the organisation shall determine the interested parties that are relevant to the quality management system. Before we can understand this fully, I think we need to take a step back and understand what an interested party is. So I checked this in the terms and definitions in ISO 9000. So ISO 9000 is the standard that has all of the terms and definitions relevant to a quality management system. I found that this term is described as an interested party is a person or organisation that can affect, be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. An example is given of customers, owners, people, an organisation, providers, bankers, regulators, unions, partners or society that can include competitors or opposing pressure groups. The concept of interested parties extends beyond a focus solely on the customer though, so therefore it's important to consider all relevant interested parties. Part of the process for understanding the context of the organisation is to identify its interested parties. We need to ask ourselves that when we make a decision, a change, or introduce a new activity or product even, who might be affected by this? So a great tip for this is to separate who might be impacted either internally to the business or externally. So this internal and external suggestion is not a mandatory requirement, but I do find it helps me to think broadly. As an example, internally this could be employees, workers' representatives, the owners or shareholders of the business, or even the board of directors. Externally, this could be suppliers, competitors, subcontractors, regulators, government bodies, customers, and even visitors to the workplace. So identifying these interested parties is the first step, which leads to the next point in this clause, so point B. And point B states that the organisation shall determine the requirements of these interested parties that are relevant to the quality management system. So the relevant interested parties are those that provide significant risk to the organisation if their needs and expectations are not met. It is up to the organisation to define what results are necessary to deliver to those relevant parties to reduce that risk. So this means that now we have identified who these internal and external interested parties are, we need to determine what they expect and need from us. I've actually seen this laid out quite nicely in an audit I conducted just recently. This company simply uses an Excel spreadsheet, and on worksheet 1 they've listed their interested parties, whether they're internal or external, and then finally the reason for their inclusion, which I think is a great addition as it demonstrates their thought process. Then on worksheet 2, they've extended from this list of just interested parties and added another column documenting each interested party's needs and expectations. So, for example, employees expect and require relevant customer service training so that they can not only meet customer requirements, but their own KPIs or targets. You can't do this without the appropriate training, right? And as another example, your customers expect that they receive what they ordered on time and within budget, and that what they have received does the job intended. This seems like a no-brainer really, but you'd be surprised. You can see that this is a nice, simple way of identifying, documenting, and then of course reviewing this requirement. So speaking of reviewing, the last sentence in this clause states that the organisation shall monitor and review information about these interested parties and their relevant requirements. Of course, that makes sense. Now, this is the area that I wanted to share with you a link to another clause in the standard. I mentioned it earlier on. Remember, it's about working smart, not hard. And the clause is, drum roll, 9.1.1. So that's a general clause under clause 9.1, monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation. This monitoring and review is a requirement under that clause. It says the organisation shall determine A, what needs to be monitored and measured, the methods and when it's to occur. Well, by the time you get to this requirement, this clause, you would have already know at least this one area that needs to be monitored, don't you? That's right, straight from here, clause 4.2. You don't need to rethink or redo anything. You already know that this is a requirement. And remember that this is not a process we would do just once. It will be an ongoing process as the business changes. As activities change, of course, interested parties will change, and so will their needs and expectations. You need to ensure that this is an ongoing process and is maintained and current. I've only used a couple of examples here, and when you go through this process within your own organisation, it will be so much clearer because you understand your own business. If you take like a helicopter view of this now, so you'll see that this process in itself has identified risks and opportunities to your business. I love it when you can see it like this. It isn't just a pointless exercise to tick a few boxes against a standard. This process actually benefits your organisation. It helps you to identify the risks so you can put in place controls or treatment plans. It helps you to identify the opportunities out there and leverage off them to be proactive in your quality management system. This is fantastic stuff. Get excited by it. So that's all the excitement I can take for the day. So thanks for sticking around to the end, and thanks for joining me. And do not forget, Auditor Training Online is a recognised training provider, so we are confident that we can help you to achieve your goal. Go to our website and enroll in training or register for any of our programs to transform your work and industry experience into a recognised qualification. And also, please subscribe to Atoll TV, leave a comment or question, as I truly do want to help you to join the best career out there with me.